Are we almost done with February and I'm only now doing my January reading wrap up? Yeah. Do I care now? Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michaela and I am going to go over my reads for January, aka my January reading wrap up. I didn't read a ton of books, but I did read some new God tier books, so I think that evens out the playing field. Starting off strong, I finally started my Crescent City journey because I have way too much FOMO and I needed to know what the heck was going on. So I started the first Crescent City and I loved it. So backstory, ACOTAR, like many other people, is actually the series that got me back into reading. ACOTAR, I flew through the books. I finally read Throne of Glass last year, the beginning of last year, so it only felt right to start the year off with Crescent City, and I'm so glad that I did because I am so fully immersed in this world and I miss Sarah J. Maas's writing. I went into this book fairly blind. The only thing I knew was there was fae and set in like a modern dystopian cyberpunk kind of era. In the first book of Crescent City, we follow our FMC Bryce Quinlan, who is half fae, half mortal, and she lives in the world of Lunathian. And her and her best friend, Danica, who is a wolf shifter, and she is the alpha of her wolf pack, are party girls. They live life to the fullest. They dance, drink, go to work, repeat. They get the reputation of party girls. There is a crazy murder mystery plot that happens very early on in the book. Bryce Quinlan is involved and she is the only survivor in this murder. The case is shut down and it's super sus when it shuts down. Then we go to 2 years later after the murders and see where Bryce is, and she really just isn't living life. She's just kind of coexisting in this world. He gets a surprise visit from Mr. Hunt Athalar. Hunt is literally a fallen angel. He has the title of Umbra Morris, which is essentially a angel that people who deserve it. We get to see the dynamic of their relationship where they're literally reluctant friends to lovers, and the banter between these two was everything. I'm so shocked that Bryce and Hunt aren't talked about more on Book Talk. It's so underrated. Bryce is a baddie. She loves fitness, she loves luxury, she loves chilling on her couch, she loves chilling with her little pet, and I feel like I related to her so much, and I feel like I haven't related to an FMC in like a romantasy world setting in a long time. I also have another character that's kind of a main character in this series. I've started the second book, so I know that he continues, but Rune Dannon, you guys know for sure I'm an Azriel girl, but Rune Dannon is up there with Azriel, man. He literally describes looking like Rhysand with piercings and tattoos, and he has like a shaved head on the side. I'll insert photos for you to see. I'm kicking, giggling on my feet reading about Rune Dannon. I've started the second book. I'm doing it on graphic audio while tandem reading, which I highly recommend because my brain cannot process world building and power systems and family lineage and all of the things that come with reading fantasy, romantasy books. So highly recommend the graphic audio. I'm halfway through the second book. I am posting kind of reading updates of my Crescent City journey on my Book Talk if you want to follow along there. Highly, highly, highly recommend the first book in Crescent City. I gave it 5 stars. All right, the second book that I read in the month of January is a dark romance. It is called Heavy by M.L. Byrne. I got so much FOMO from a bunch of my mutuals who read and loved this book. It is a taboo romance. Trigger warnings, dark romance. It is a step-uncle niece. It is a slight age gap. It's not really big. I'm not a huge fan of like really big age gaps. Take that into consideration that there's a slight age gap. I think it's like 7 years. It's nothing huge. Man is described to be 6'7", 6'8", covered in tattoos, head to toe tattoos, and he is pierced. One of the tattoos that he has is the word sit above one of his eyebrows. The plot of this book is very smut heavy, but we love that. The storyline within this book is essentially we follow our FMC and our MMC. He has just gotten out of prison. You find out more about his story and his sad upbringing and the courses of his life that ultimately led him to being in prison. Kind of his trauma. He has a lot of trauma. And he reconnects with his brother, his brother and him have a very estranged relationship. His brother is recently married and his wife has a daughter Can you see where I'm going with this? They ultimately end up living in a cabin together without knowing that each other was there at first. Shen needed a place to stay after being released from prison. Our FMC gets the cabin because she is an interior designer. She is fully renovating the entire cabin to, you know, submit to her job for her, like, you know, interior design credit, whatever. These two individuals are very broken in their trauma, but they are also very flirty and hot. Both of them are tatted, both of them are pierced, both of them yearn for one another, but both of them, you know, teeter the line of this is wrong. We're not related, but we kind of are. I loved it. I gave it 3.5 just because I wanted a little bit more from the ending. However, I did enjoy my time reading this book. This was my first M.L. Burns books, and I will be continuing with this author because I really did enjoy the characters that she gave us. Now, this was my favorite part of the month because I discovered a new God tier series, and it is going to be the Bittersweet Symphony duet with the novella from Miss Kate Stewart. Now, if you're not familiar with Kate Stewart, she is the author behind the Book Talk popular series, the Ravenhood trilogy, which I also devoured. I loved it. I've been meaning to read this series in particular for a really long time. It is a rockstar romance, but I heard that it was a love triangle, so that's why I pushed it off because I am not a big love triangle girl. I usually pick one guy, and if she doesn't end up with a guy, I'm pissed. We start off with Drive. In Drive, we follow Stella and Reed. Stella and Reed are reluctant friends to lovers to exes. And essentially what happens is Stella meets Reed through her sister. Her sister is best friends with Reed. Reed is a drummer in an upcoming band. Stella is an aspiring journalist who wants to write specifically about music, up-and-coming bands, concerts, blah, 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 because music is her life. Their friendship that turns into romance is so sweet because their banter is everything. She's so sassy. She's one of my favorite FMCs of all time. And Reed is just such a grump, but he's such a flirt at the same time. He's very reserved, and she just breaks through that barrier, and it is everything. Reed and his band get very famous very fast, which ultimately leads to him and Stella just kind of parting ways because he felt that he didn't want her to be dragged down into that lifestyle because rockstar lifestyle is so unpredictable. He's on the road all the time. So heartbreaking. So we pan to, you know, current day. Her and Reed haven't talked in years. She is currently working for a journalism agency, I think is what you would call it. And she kind of has a thing with her new boss. And oh my God, his name is Nate. Just imagine, essentially Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell, his personality, Glenn Powell and Twisters, I would say would be kind of the personality that Nate has. Nate was so freaking hot. Love Nate. The banter and the charisma and the flirtation that this man has, I was panting, gasping, blushing. He gets in a relationship with Nate. They're happy-go-lucky. Reed comes back in the picture and Reed wants her back. This love triangle was so painful. It was so painful because I loved both Reed and Nate with my whole chest. I loved both of them. And it was so painful because you're literally with Stella as she's having to decide who she's gonna be with. And what's really cool is Kate Stewart made this book very interactive. So we're essentially following Stella on a drive, hence the name of the book, on a drive from a business meeting I believe she has to, you know, her home. And we're following her journey of what led her to where she is now. And each chapter has a song that coincides with it. So after you read the chapter, it's encouraged to listen to the song. So fucking good. So good. So then it ends. It broke my heart. In true Kate Stewart fashion, if you've read the Ravenhood trilogy, you know how gut-wrenchingly painful and then healing her books are. I'll leave it at that. No spoilers. This one, I think that I know for sure that I am a Reed Crown girl. You read Reverse. Reverse is a second generation, second chance romance. And oh my God, you guys, Eastern Crown. Elliot Eastern Crown. My new hyperfixation. He is Reed's son. He is also a rock star. He's up and coming. He's a songwriter. You guys, He is so grumpy, but like in like the hot artist way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the grumpy, broody, just he is our MMC in this book, and he gets tied up into a conversation with Natalie, our FMC. Natalie is Nate's daughter. Natalie is an aspiring up-and-coming journalist. She gets a tip-off about their parents' life, and so she reaches out to Easton, comes and visits him, meets him, essentially following them, trying to figure out their parents' history and like what happened with them, while also falling in love. And oh my god, this romance was so beautiful and painful and then beautiful again. Oh my god, you want a second chance romance that the yearning and the angst, and it's just so painful and you just want them to be together. I haven't gotten this from like a second chance romance since the Edge of Darkness trilogy between Kate and Stacy. It's so good. It's so good. I buddy read this duet with my girl Ashley. I'll plug her here. If you're not following her on socials, what are you doing? I'm obsessed with her. Her and I were sending each other updates, texting, voice memos. We are both so down bad for Easton Crown that we are going to a concert April, watching a band we both fan casted as Easton Crown. I knew that once I started reading Rockstar Romance that it was really going to send me down a spiral. And I was correct, and I'm so glad that I started my Rockstar Romance journey with Kate Stewart, because there's gonna be nothing better than this duet. I just know. I've read Rockstar Romances like after, and they're good, but they're not this good. Please. And then to top it off, read Bittersweet Melody, which is a little novella that happens after Reverse. You guys, and it's so good. And I highly recommend listening to the audiobook as well, because the guy who voices Easton is just chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. The next book I read, I finally read Rook and Rebel by Kate Crew. I loved this book. If you're a fan of Navessa Allen's Lights Out and Josh and his personality, you're going to love this book, because it was very much dark rom-com vibes, except he is a biker, kind of stalker, he kind of people, and she's just a girly girl, and she just lives her life. She's so not, his type personality-wise, but they meet essentially from a date that goes wrong. He picks her up and takes her home because her date basically bails on her, and the plot kind of starts there. And oh my gosh, you guys, I've never really been like a biker girl, but I fear this book really just scratched the itch for me. Like, I'm like, no, he has to be a biker. No, he has to be. And I just appreciate biker MMCs even more now. Rook is a funny, charismatic, grumpy man, covered in tattoos, by the way, over 6 foot. You know the drill. And his nickname for her is Rebel. I read the book and I listened to the audiobook, which I highly recommend. I love audiobook tandem reading with the books, by the way. So loved this book. And also Kate Crew is so cool. Second book that she's writing, it is called Ace and Ember, and it is Brother's Best Friends. I know I'm going to devour it. I keep seeing the quotes that Kate is posting, and she released the tropes earlier this week. Can't wait. 10 out of 10, I already know. And finally, the last book that I read this month, I really missed hockey books for some reason. Something about fictional hockey players just scratches something in my brain. So I finally started the series by C.R. Jane. I don't know what the actual series is called, but I read The Pucking Wrong Number. Another dark rom-com, low-key. Like, we follow the FMC and the MMC. They meet because he accidentally texts her number thinking that she's somebody else. And she plays along because she's like, why not? Why wouldn't I play along with this? And he immediately is obsessed with her. And he kind of gives Nikolai Sokolov vibes from the Legacy of God series, where he's like a psychopath, but he's like a golden retriever psychopath. And his flirting with her, his yearning for her. She sends him a selfie because he's like, there's no way that you're not this girl that I know you are or whatever. She sends a selfie and he's immediately like, I'm gonna marry her. That's my wife. That level of delusion, I love it. It was a silly, goofy time. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars. I kind of wanted a little bit more plot, but that's just me. I did enjoy it, and I probably definitely will continue the series. Listen, I know that it is almost the end of February. I will be doing more wrap-up. I will be doing wrap-ups at better times during the month. My bad. Sorry I've been MIA for a little bit. Life has been busy, work has been busy, but I'm getting back on my YouTube shit. So if you liked this video, please like, comment, subscribe, do all of the things, and I will see you on the next one.